Yo, 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 what's good, everybody? Clumsy Uno here with my boy Jack.
What's up?
Just got done watching the Bash in Berlin. I gotta say, alright, Triple H. He likes his 5-card matches, and so he likes to let them breathe a little bit. So this was another one. International crowd who was loud, made themselves known. Let's just go down the card and get right into it. What you think?
I thought overall that it was a pretty good pay-per-view. I think it was a safe pay-per-view. I think this pay-per-view sets up a lot of what's coming probably next. But it was still a really good pay-per-view overall.
Yeah. I agree. They started the night out with Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed title. Cody had a lot of offense to start. KO started to make a comeback, but Cody stayed on him. And then they were telling a story with Cody's knee giving out. So it gave out. KO contemplated on attacking it. He almost hit him with an apron powerbomb. You know how he likes to do. A couple good false finishes. Cody hits 2 crossroads. KO hits a stunner before Cody can hit the third. Goes up to hit a splash. Cody puts the knees up. And then Cody gets up, hits the last crossroads to win the match. I thought it was pretty good. Jack, what do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a good match. I don't think anyone was going to be surprised from beginning to end because it was pretty much ended as we expected it to end, but it was a good match.
Yeah. No, it was. I don't think anyone thought that Cody was going to lose the title to Kevin Owens.
Still too soon.
No heel turn from KO, surprisingly. He was thinking about it. They were getting close. I thought he was going to do it, but heel turn.
They even had the show of shaking hands and things like that at the end. So I think that it kind of continues that story about them being friends from this point on. Continues to keep KO kind of in his corner.
That's true. Keeps him in his, and then Cody in his, and I think they're going to sets up for a match that I'm going to get into later. But overall, pretty good match. I don't think no one expected Cody to lose. I think everyone was just more there for the spectacle of the match itself to see what happened or how they meshed in the ring, you know. Overall, good match. Good way to start off the night.
Yeah.
So we had Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair versus the Unholy Union, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn for the women's tag team titles. And it starts off okay as these matches tend to. Slow build. Bianca takes on most of the beginning of the match per usual. Alba dope spot kicking Jade as she hits Bianca with the DDT. And she got the hot tag to Jade. Jade runs through the heels as she likes to do. A good spot where Bianca was about to take a bump from Alba, and Jade pulls her hair to get Bianca out of the way. And then Cargill gets tagged in, and 1, 2, 3 wins the match for the I don't know what to call them, the women's superpowers. That's what I like to call them, the women's superpowers.
That's a good name for them. It's definitely fitting with the history and stuff. And I would say that this match wasn't much of a surprise. I think really it was WWE kind of trying to make right something that they made wrong. I don't get me wrong, I think the Unholy Union, or whatever they're called, I think they're very talented. I think they have many years in front of them, and I think you need to sometimes strike when the iron is hot. And Cargill and Belair, there's just no iron hotter right now. So
they look just so strong as a unit. Those two together just look so strong and so powerful. And Jay looks like $1 million. Bianca looks like $1 million. So
it looks like they were put together, like they were meant to be together.
That's true. It does feel like they were meant to be together as a team. I think this match was really paint by numbers as Bianca and Jade matches go. Jade's usually the one to get the hot tag, run through the heels, and Bianca will usually run a little bit of offense at the beginning. But I'm glad they got their titles back. My daughter was glad they got their titles back. I think we were all happy they got their titles back. So, all right, it was a good match. I'm glad they pulled it off. Next up, we get my personal favorite, which is one I was looking forward to most of the night, which was CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in a strap match. Drew ambushes CM Punk before the match even starts. Starts with a lot of offense. CM Punk comes back, doesn't hit the light, but chooses to beat Drew instead. Match progresses at a good pace. They take turns hitting a couple corners. Drew sets a chair up, which he later ends up running into by CM Punk. He also sets up a table, which Punk goes through. Drew carries Punk as he touches the corner, but doesn't realize Punk's hitting the corners as well. So they both get to the last one, and neither of them hit it. Reset. Punk hits a sharpshooter, and Drew taps out multiple times. So that's definitely going to be used. Can't hit the corners. Drew hits a Claymore. Punk hits a GTS, and then another. Hits 3 corners. Gets him up for a third GTS, and right before he hits the 4th corner, he gets his ass up and hits him with a 4th GTS, gets his bracelet, and taps the last corner. This was a good match. I enjoyed this one. And I haven't seen a lot of strap matches myself, but this one definitely goes in the books on my end. Jack, what you think?
Well, I think this is going to be kind of the end of the story. I think this is going to be, from this step on, you're going to see Drew and CM Punk probably go different ways. Punk has got his bracelet back, 2 decisive wins. If we're going to see another one, I don't see it right away. But, what a great way to end that battle. It was really hard hitting. They actually drew blood, which is never seen on a WWE match. So, it was a good match.
That's one thing I did forget to mention. CM Punk was bleeding at some point. I think it was the rake to the eyes. They said it was the Claymore kick.
Yeah.
I think it was the rake to the eyes, because it was like right after it he started bleeding. But this was a fun match. This was a good match. Not the funnest of the night, we'll get to, but this was definitely a fun match. I definitely thought CM Punk was gonna win because I think he had to get his payback, man. He had to get his payback. Drew going 2 up on him, it would just take all the fire out of the story and
absolutely
out of this feud. So this was definitely a good match. I enjoyed it. Pretty good spots. CM Punk choosing to beat Drew McIntyre instead of hitting the corners at the beginning was...
Well, it'll be interesting to see, too, if Seth Rollins ends up coming into the picture after this, because he was a part of that whole trilogy of Punk, McIntyre at SummerSlam. So you got to wonder if Seth's going to come in at this point now and start his own angle.
That's true. Yeah, because we still have Seth Rollins sitting in the corner. He's waiting. They still have the WrestleMania main event to get to. So, yeah, good match. And bracelet is in Punk's possession once again.
Yes.
So I think everything's right with the world in that prospect. So, good match. Now, next up, I feel like personally it was the funnest match of the whole card. The way it played out to the way it built up to the way it played out, this is the funnest match. It was the mixed tag team match with the Terror Twins, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio. And it starts off with Damian and Dom going off, and then Rhea and Liv go next. Guys get back in. Liv distracts Damian as he ends up on the outside. Dom knocks him into the steps, and throughout the match, Liv was a distracting Priest and getting them all worked up. So therefore that's how they got most of their offense, was distracting, and that's when Dom would come in. Girls finally get back in and Rhea dominates. Finally she gets her hands on Dom and whips his ass. Got him in the corner, chokes him out with her thighs. I'm sure he didn't think it was a bad thing, but almost hits Riptide, and then Liv saves him. Guys get back in. Terror Twins hit the Razor's Edge at the same time on both Liv and Dom. And then, of course, Judgment Day interrupt. Shenanigans. Allows Dom to hit the Frog Splash and get a close count. Girls get back in. Damian wipes out the Judgment Day. Dom sells a crazy lariat from Damon on the announce tables, which I was like, damn. Rhea hits Riptide on Liv because she's not looking. Damian says, turn around. She turns around, gets hit with that Riptide, wins the match for the Terror Twins, and this was definitely the funnest match of the night.
It is. I would say that I was very much surprised, because as a longtime wrestling fan, usually these mixed tag matches just are not very exciting, and to see one on a pay-per-view even more so. But I think that those involved made it different this time. So many people wanted to see Damian and Rhea get their hands on Dominic and Liv, that I think in the long run, any apprehensions that I had, I think this actually was the match of the night.
Definitely match of the night. From the spots to like the funny little nuances they were doing, you know, and we knew it was gonna be shenanigans.
Oh yeah.
But Damien wiping out the whole Judgment Day, and them not playing too much on like Finn being the one to like really cause it was the whole Judgment Day as a whole.
Yeah.
Because I think what's gonna happen is Finn, they're really waiting to tell that Finn and Damien story, I believe.
Yeah, I think it'll be a big one. Yeah,
for sure. That's a blood feud waiting to happen.
Yeah.
But of course the Terror Twins come out with the dub. I thought Liv and Dom were gonna win, and it was just gonna make it that much more satisfying when she finally gets her hands on Dom. But she actually did for a little bit. She whooped his ass.
She did.
She whooped his ass. So great match. I'm excited. I'm excited that Damien and Rhea got their comeuppance, and we will see what happens with this story. Like I said, this story does not end until Rhea gets her title back. So this story is going to continue. It will, but we will see what direction. Yeah, it could be a while. So we'll see what direction this ends up going in next. And lastly, we had the main event: Randy Orton versus the Ring General Kunta. Crowd had a lot of energy for this one. They were singing their asses off, and Randy was enjoying it. A lot of technical and grappling to start the match. Randy was you could tell Randy was just enjoying himself, having fun, just soaking it all in. Randy works him over. Crowd just kept getting loud. Chops the shit out of Orton a bunch of times. They fight on the outside. Randy runs Gunther into the steps, and then Randy runs some offense. Works his right arm over. Quite a bit, actually. Factors in when Gunther tries clotheslining. Can't really get a good clothesline on him. And then Randy gets Gunther for a superplex. Vintage Randy. Gunther targets the lower back on Randy because, that's been a problem. Tries for a powerbomb. Arm gives out. And then Orton tries lifting Gunther. Gets reversed into a powerbomb. And then Gunther tries another powerbomb. And Randy Orton gets out and hits an RKO out of nowhere. Randy goes outside, sets up the steps in front of the German announce table, and throws Gunther off of the steps onto the announce table. A lot of steel step use. Gets him back into the ring, goes for an RKO. Gunther tosses him off. Gunther hits a sleeper. They tussle. Gets the sleeper back in. Randy gets out. And out of nowhere, just when you think like the camera angle had it set up perfectly, Gunther sets up one, gets him in a good sleeper hold, and Orton gets put out. Randy Orton, the legend killer, gets put to sleep by Gunther. Gunther retains. This place exploded. What a good match.
Yeah, not something you see with Randy Orton very often at all. He's a very protected individual. And I think it goes to show, though, with the match was good. There wasn't a lot of pretense or garbage. There wasn't a lot of interference. It was just two men at the prime of their game smacking the crap out of each other. And in all honesty, that's what you wanted to see in this match. Not the best match I've ever seen, but for what it is, like really good setup. Gunther makes him step off looking even stronger, and the show of respect at the end, I think this was a good move.
Yeah, and not having like Randy just RKO him out of nowhere and just have the place like boo and walk out like with their heads down, because that's what I felt like would have happened if Randy would have just RKO'd him. Yeah, that place would have just all the energy would have probably just died off right there and then.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a good card. Early start time here in the U.S., but not a bad start time.
No, I'm getting used to that.
How do you feel about these 5-match PLEs?
I think that it's good to be doing this at 5-match because it keeps it more short and concise, and it's more for building anyways. The big ones are the ones that you're going to tell the big overarching stories. These ones are the ones that you just need to be building on the foundation from. We'll see how it goes from this point on, but I think they're working out pretty good.
We will. No, I've been enjoying them. It gives, I feel like, each match really time to breathe and a lot of personality to the match. You know what I'm saying? They get to let these two, or whoever's in the match, just let it build and let them really tell a story.
Yeah.
I got all of them right except for the Terror Twins winning. I thought Dom and Liv were gonna win, but other than that, I think This was a pretty predictable card if you know, kind of just like knew what was going on and kind of seen the, you know, landscape. But yeah.
I'd agree. And it, you know, serviceable it still was a very good PLE.
Oh yeah, German crowd made it better, but that's the same with all these European crowds or overseas crowds. They just go insane because just imagine, like, we're here in the U.S., we're spoiled. If we really wanted to go to a Monday Night Raw or a SmackDown, or we could just take a flight, you know, a couple hours, you know. But for them, they gotta cross the world, you know, go across the world to come see some WWE. So for them to come into town is probably a really, really special occasion.
Well, and I hope we see more of those shows. You know, hopefully more European shows and Japan shows and things like that. So.
Right. No, it gives us some competition and something to do instead of saying what. Jeez, every week.
I know we're what. I'm not about what.
Oh my goodness, man. Yeah, no. Sometimes I'll be watching this. What the hell out of somebody, and I'm just like, shut up,
like,
shut up.
Why
Stop
did
it.
you start that Stone Cold?
I know, Stone Cold. I love you, but why?
It's like the worst thing you started.
But overall, Bash in Berlin is in the books. Shout out my boy Jack for coming through and hanging out with me and making this video with me, and hopefully we get to see more of him. And this was a good card. Cody with the win, CM Punk with the win, Gunther with the win, Terror Twins with the win, and Jade and Bianca get their titles back. Any last words or anything you want to say before we head out of here?
No, just a good show, good balance. So excited to see Cargill and Belair have the titles back. They've needed them.
Right, they needed them. They're gonna build that women's division up. Those two, so they need it's been Clumsy Uno. Like, comment, subscribe if you're still here. I appreciate you. This has been our Bash in Berlin reaction review, you know what I'm saying, and highlights. But thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.